Hello everybody. This video is going to be another mechanical video. Now, the more you know about the mechanics of your truck, I feel that's also part of the success of being in trucking. Of course, everybody want to know how to make money, but if you're not taking care of your equipment so that you can continue to make money, then what's the point? So I try to aim a lot of videos on my expertise, and I mean, I get money, whatever, but a lot of people get money better than me. So I leave money making videos up to the experts that get more money than me or probably do it better, whatever. But I'm the mechanical person, even though I'm a woman. So the question is, should you idle your truck or not after shutdown? Should you? And I can guarantee that a lot of, especially like new people or people that have not been driving for a while, y'all probably never even considered that question because a lot of you don't know. And a lot of times most people don't find out things until like it's word of mouth, or another trucker give you advice on this, or you see another trucker doing this or this and that. So here go another trucker showing you this and that. So the reason why you should idle your truck for at least about a good 5 to 10 minutes, as y'all see, I'm idling. I don't know if you can hear it. Let me turn y'all facing forward. Yes, a sister is idling. I just got back. And sometimes, I ain't gonna lie, I don't idle all the time because sometimes I be tired and I be ready to go home. So sometimes either, I ain't gonna say I forget, but I just be ready to go home. But the best practice is to idle for at least 5 to 10 minutes at least. And you probably asking like, why? Why, Pinky? Why should we idle a freaking diesel engine after we just drove for a couple hours or we drove a long trip? Like, why? Why? Okay, I'm gonna answer your question. The reason why you should idle your truck for at least 5 to 10 minutes is so that you can cool down your engine. And a lot of times, most people don't really realize until they have a problem. Most problems that arises from not idling your engine over time, it can end up being a warped exhaust manifold. You know, the manifold itself, or the actual gasket that goes in between the manifold. Now, for everybody that might not know about engine parts, or y'all have no clue because you're not mechanically inclined, an exhaust manifold, you know what an exhaust is. Like most people that have cars, an exhaust is the round thing in the back of your car, and you see like smoke come out of it sometimes. Sometimes you might see black smoke, which means you're burning oil. Sometimes you might see clear smoke, which means you might be dumping too much fuel into the chambers, or you could be burning coolant, which means you might got a bad head. It could mean a lot of things, but that's the exhaust. So the exhaust has a system. The exhaust is the pipe in the back. It runs up into a muffler. The muffler is what keeps it quiet. Then from the muffler, it runs to the catalytic converter. The catalytic converter, it filtrates out all the pollutants. So by the time it hits the muffler, you're not supposed to be getting a bunch of contaminants, polluting the air supposedly. But if your catalytic converter is faulty, or your O2 sensor is faulty, because the O2 sensor actually screws into your exhaust, and that actually controls, it controls the airflow. So when your O2 sensor goes bad, you can have a too lean engine code, like too lean air fuel mixture or too little air fuel mixture. There's a lot of stuff that go into these engines. Okay, so from the exhaust to the muffler to the catalytic converter, now we're running up to the exhaust manifold. The exhaust manifold is a bunch of holes, but they call it ports. It's a bunch of ports that it connects onto the back of your engine most of the time. And in order for you to connect it and for it to really not leak out smoke or air or anything, they have a gasket in between the engine block and the exhaust manifold. So obviously with different materials, like you might have metal. I don't think they use metal in engines, or it might be copper. I don't know what kind of material they use, especially to make diesel engines, but certain temperatures can warp it, or certain temperatures can change the dynamics of the properties of the material. So heat will mess up anything. Everything has a certain temperature that it's supposed to be. And if it overheats, you can destroy anything with overheating. That's why it's very imperative that you keep an eye on your dash. Let me show you guys. Especially when you drive. And a lot of times, like, this is your overheating thermometer for most engines. Like, this is a Freightliner right here. So this goes up a lot when you climbing hills or you pulling heavy loads, or if you got a bad water pump or you don't have enough coolant in your system. So there's a lot of reasons why that goes up. But just on a regular day, especially if you climbing hills and you bogging, you're going to overheat anyway if you climbing hills. As long as that needle goes back down, as long as it don't stay in the red for too long, as long as it kind of go up and then go down, you okay. But if it goes up and it stays up, and then the engine light comes on, and then it says pull over. Well, I ain't gonna say pull, it'll say stop. Pull over, because you can mess up a engine. And you don't want to mess up an engine on a tractor, because most likely that's a $40,000, well, I wouldn't say 40. I say from $20,000 to $30,000 job. Any type of work that gets done on these rigs, it is very costly. That's why a lot of times, you know, a lot of owner operators, that's one of their high maintenance, and fuel and probably other things, but mainly fuel and maintenance is the highest thing that owner operators have to deal with. So like I said, the reason why you should, but really have to, I mean, if you're talking about keeping up the maintenance on your truck, if you care about longevity or reaching that 1,000,000 mark on your truck, because a lot of tractors can go 1,000,000 miles. Most trucks can go 1,000,000 miles. Well, it might even go 2,000,000 miles if you're really doing good on the maintenance, especially Volvos, if you really had the money to dump into Volvos. But I've seen some Volvos go 2,000,000 miles with the right owner. So you let your truck idle so that it can cool down. Because obviously while you on high speeds and stuff, everything is pumping. All the torque converter, the pistons going up and down, the valves, everything is going at optimum speed. So now that you come into a stop, everything is idle. Idle means it's just sitting there. So it's not at its full acceleration speed, because you ain't got your foot on the pedal. You know, it's not pulling, it's just sitting. So when it's sitting, it's having time to cool down. So all the oil is still circulating through the block and everything. All the coolant is still circulating through the engine to keep it cool. And over time, you'd be surprised how the temperature will slightly go down. So by the time the temperature slightly go down, that gives that exhaust manifold time to be at a great temperature so that it won't get warped when you turn your engine off. So a lot of times most people won't notice that their exhaust manifold is eventually going to get warped over time, or it's leaking. And a lot of times you know it's leaking because you can hear it. Like you can just hear, like you hear it. You know when you have an exhaust leak. Any type of exhaust leak, whether it's the muffler, a hole in some part of the exhaust, or somebody stole your Cadillac converter because they wanted to junk it. Maybe it was a crackhead. I don't know, because I know in Baltimore they stay still in Cadillac converters because you can get a lot of money if you take them to the junkyard. But bump all that. A lot of times when it's leaking from the exhaust manifold, you lose power. You know, you can't climb hills. Like, it's bogging really, really bad, and it's loud. That's even on the car. A lot of stuff is kind of the same from diesel to gasoline. Only difference is the braking system and the fueling part of it. Like, you know, instead of gasoline combustion, it's diesel combustion. You know, instead of using spark plugs, they use pure combustion to give power to your wheels or whatever. So that's just simple to explain it. That's why you should idle your truck for at least 5 to 10 minutes after you come off that road for hours at a time. Now, grant, if you did a short run, or maybe you did like a local run within within the area to where you wasn't at super high speeds for hours, it might not matter, but it's still a good practice whether you just did a local run or you did a long run. Give yourself a truck 5 to 10 minutes. It ain't gonna hurt the truck. If anything, you're gonna help the truck over time from having a messed up exhaust manifold. And then, you know, all the other engine components, because all the other engine components could suffer from not having time to cool down at its proper temperature too, especially pistons and valves. Because if you know, being super neglectful on your truck, you get to 500,000 miles, or maybe you get to maybe 900 something thousand miles, and now you got a messed up valve because you didn't take care of stuff, or the rings around your piston is messed up because you done overheated stuff, ain't changed the oil, didn't keep the coolant, you know, the way it's supposed to be. Like, you just neglectful on your equipment. So yes, this is Mechanic Talk 101 from Keeping It 100, Pinky Dabney here. I love talking about this stuff. I used to have so many mechanic buddies back home in Baltimore, and I used to hang out with them all the time to where that's all we talked about, that's all we did. But now that I'm down here in North Carolina, I don't have no mechanic friends that I can just chop it up with about mechanics. So I do kind of miss that. So I can just chop it up here on the tube. So I hope that is a great learning lesson for why you should idle your truck after a long trip. Now it's time for me to long trip my tail home. So time is the essence. I'll make a better time of it, giving y'all the knowledge that I got, you know what I'm saying? All right, let me make sure I'm logged out of here, because I ain't trying to be violations and stuff, and then mother sucking managers be calling me talking about why you in violation, why you ain't logged out, why you ain't unload on duty, you supposed to be on duty anyway. I know. All right, Rodney, I got you, man. All right, I'm gonna unload on duty. I got it. I'm gonna do the right thing. I don't feel like hearing your mouth. Okay, have a great day. So time is the essence. I'm making better time of it. Let's love each other, not judge each other, because I never judge you, and I love you. I love you, honey. I love you. Deuces. And really another topic that can kind of piggyback off this is, why do truck drivers idle their truck all day? Like, you got some truck drivers, when they out there on the road, let's just say a truck driver out there for 2 and 3 weeks at a time, most likely that truck driver to idle his truck for the whole 2 to 3 weeks at a time. Like, most truck drivers never cut their truck off. It's a practice that they do, and I'm not even going to go into it because that can be another video. So all right, y'all, deuces.